So it all started, I guess, that I used to in my 20s used to collect bizarre sort of soft toys that no one wanted, and I sort of left over from the 60s and 70s, and my childhood was the 80s, and they sort of didn't really they looked a bit weird, so I sort of started collecting them, and I my housemate and me made up sort of started to make up a little story about Space Chimp and Earth Chimp, but it never really went anywhere. And I was partying too hard through my 20s, and sort of had to retire early. And as my brain recovered, I was making lots of art, just constantly making art. And all through my sort of life, I'd had sort of movie scenes in my head that I would create, I suppose, not full movies. I didn't really have the stories for full movies, but I had lots of sci-fi ideas and would remake films, movie scenes, or add scenes, or add ideas that I thought would make films better. And that had always been sort of through my life. And over 10 years of making Space Chimp, Chimp Cosmic, um, many iterations, which I then reused in the later episodes towards the end, uh, not wanting to waste them, I suppose. And this is probably the end of Chimp Cosmic and the Space Chimp and Earth Chimp and all those stories. Probably though, but who knows? And next I'm going to be making horror movies, I think, late at night by myself. Alex Burrows, the Rockstar Rabbit film director and architect, was is someone who kind of lives in my head. Not quite as I've portrayed it here, but I like the idea of a man who you know had a female pop star as his sort of alter ego, and that's not representative of me as a gender fluid person, but that's how I changed it. I just liked the idea, but yeah, it was something that came from my own head. The Weeping Spook, or the Weeping Child, or Weepy the Wise, is genderless, and throughout the whole film, I never mention he she when referring to them. Yeah, that's just if you hadn't picked up on that, that's something that I decided to right from the start, I guess. As I mentioned earlier, I didn't really have the stories in my 20s. That's what your 20s are about, is finding the stories and living, although I lived a bit too much. But now the stories are free flowing, and I think that I always knew I needed some life experience before I could make proper art. And so it took me a while, but I have lots of ideas now. They the trick is with ideas is that it can come from anything, literally anything. Just look around you, pick up a thing, and start to write a story about it, and something will come of it. And keep writing, and stuff will come from absolutely anything. And that's the key, and that's what it's all about in a way. Is the sort of the infinity of creativity. Is people struggle with ideas and getting inspiration, but actually it's a lot easier than anyone thinks. It's you can just walk around the street for 5 minutes and find some bit of trash and write a story about it. Literally anything can be made into some sort of weird or bizarre story, and that's kind of what the whole of Space Jam was about in a way, is that it just popped into my head, the whole thing almost. Um, and it was all just things around me that I made into a story. But I will say, don't believe that sort of partying hard is a way to access creativity. I'm not saying there aren't elements of that are true, that you can access otherwise sort of creativity that you wouldn't have accessed before through different memes. But these things can come to you. You just have to make. You have to start making, keep making, and you'll get good, and you will have ideas, and ideas will come and go, and you know, but you don't need to party hard to sort of restructure your brain and then hope that some creativity will come out of it, because it's just not necessary. It will come anyway, naturally, if you put the work in and start doing and making things, and eventually those your brain will rewire in a creative way anyway, and and that's my advice to everyone, really. So you just have to keep making a lot, keep making, believe in the infinity of creativity, and that inspiration is everywhere. And you just have to believe that, and you will never run out of ideas, I believe, anyway.